It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. I'm Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, and as always, I am here to explore ways that we can live unapologetically and build lives that we are proud of. Today's episode, it's all about surviving the holidays, because let's face it, holiday stress is real, and this year, with everything going on post-election, many of us are feeling more than a little unsettled. So, if you're dealing with those extra tough family dynamics, or if the political tensions have gotten you on edge, or if you just want to find a little peace in the chaos, you, my friends, are in the right place. All right, first things first. Let's talk boundaries. Stop it. Stop rolling your eyes. I know I mention boundaries almost every episode, but it's necessary. I mean, come on. Boundaries are the foundation for our sanity. And as we all know, the holidays can bring out, well, let's just call them interesting behaviors in people. And if you come from a family that's not exactly known for respecting your space or your choices, this can feel daunting. Whether it's your uncle's unwanted political comments, your aunt's questions about your personal life, or those judgmental remarks from a well-meaning family member. Boundaries, my friend, are your lifeline. And here's the trick. Decide ahead of time what's off limits. Visualize yourself firmly but kindly responding to comments or questions that you know are coming. Sometimes even rehearsing a simple, "I'd rather not discuss that," can empower you to stay cool and collected. And of course, then there's the whole post-election tension. This year, it's like politics has seeped into literally every aspect of our lives, right? Many women I talk to are still reeling from the outcome of the recent election. For those of us hoping for change, this outcome has felt disheartening, and for some, even triggering. So if you're worried about what kind of conversations might come up at the dinner table, know that you are not alone. I, myself, also am a little concerned about this. Now, I want to emphasize, you do not owe anyone your opinion. You don't owe anyone an explanation or a justification for your values. If you choose to disengage, that is totally okay. Your mental health matters way more than winning a debate at the dinner table. Remember, the holiday table is not the place where you need to convince anyone of anything. And sometimes simply saying, "I don't want to talk about politics right now," is the most powerful thing that you can do. And for those of you who don't have a table to sit at this year, I am with you in spirit, and I am sorry if you not having a place is distressing to you. For some of you, you may be very glad that you don't have a family gathering to go to, and I respect that also. But I would just encourage you, if you're feeling alone and isolated, maybe a Friendsgiving is a possibility. But ultimately, if grief is part of your holiday season, I'm so sorry. And my heart does go out to you, because the holidays can be very, very difficult when it's the first gathering since the passing of a loved one, or when it is a holiday that a deceased loved one used to really enjoy. So again, my heart goes out to you. Please, please take care of you Okay. And reach out to supports as needed. If you're feeling like your mental health is not okay, please reach out to a therapist. There are many therapists that work during the holiday season, myself included. So there's no shame in reaching out. And speaking of mental health, we have got to prioritize our mental health. The holiday season has a way of romanticizing family, pushing this idea that every moment should be perfect and happy. But for many of us, family time can be complicated. And it's okay if you're not feeling the holiday cheer, especially if this time of year stirs up past hurts or even ongoing toxic family dynamics. Not gonna lie, I feel like I lost my holiday cheer when my children grew up and moved out, and I didn't have the joy of them as children being excited about various holiday traditions. So, this is one I struggle with myself. I kind of have a meh feeling to the holidays, and it's very sad for me because I used to really, really love the holidays, but yeah, now not so much. But you know what? Instead of dwelling on that, I am taking care of myself and I am spending time with people that I love. And sometimes it is just my husband. That's it. He and I, there was one year we went to McDonald's for Thanksgiving. And I can't remember if it was last year. We were looking for a place to go, just the two of us, and there was nothing open. And we literally ate like turkey pot pies. Pretty pathetic. It was pretty pathetic. He and I have had many, many Thanksgivings where we weren't with any of our family. So, it is possible to survive the solitude also. Sometimes I find it helpful to go into family gatherings with the mindset that I'm here to show up as my best self for me, not necessarily to change them, fix them, or even engage in every single conversation. So I encourage you to think about that also. If you need to take breaks, go for a walk, or even have a code word with a friend so you can text and get a little sanity, do it. Because taking care of your mental health is not selfish. I've said that before. Taking care of your mental health is survival. So do what you got to do to survive whatever holiday situation that you are in. And of course, always reach out to supports as needed. And let's talk about diffusing tension and dealing with conflict, because let's be real. Sometimes, despite your best intentions, conflict does happen. You're prepared, you've set boundaries, and yet here comes a relative who's determined to pick a fight. If you can, remind yourself that you are in control of your responses. I promise you, you do not have to respond emotionally to an emotional comment. In fact, sometimes stepping back and asking, why does this need to be said right now, can help you steer away from confrontation. Pick your battles. This is something that I used to think everything was a battle. I was a fighter over everything, and then I got weary. I came to the realization that, you know what? Sometimes talking to ignorant people and trying to help them see the light, see the truth, whatever it may be, it's not worth my damn energy. So I spend my energy wisely. One of my favorites. Okay, so like if you're faced with like passive aggressive comments or even direct challenges, consider this trick. Turn the question back on them calmly and neutrally. Something like, why does this matter to you? Or what are you hoping I'll take from this? Because this often shifts the burden back to them and helps to take the edge off. It's actually, okay, if any of my therapy patients are listening to this, don't listen to this part. Because often, if I'm in a therapy session and somebody asks me something like incredibly personal or even inappropriate, sometimes my response simply is, why is that important to you? Why is it important to you to know that about me? I do that frequently because, like, okay, if somebody was to ask about my sex life and 9 times out of 10, it is not therapeutically appropriate, to ask about that unless I'm doing some specific type of intervention for a sexual problem that they are having. But if it's not that, then I'll say things like, why does that matter to you? Let's unpack that. Why does the sex life of your therapist matter to you? And sometimes they actually say things that spark a really good conversation. So I'm giving you this therapy trick to therapize upon your family members. If somebody wants to jump all over you because you voted a certain way or whatever, just simply say to them, why does that matter so much to you? Tell me. And a lot of times it disarms people. It really does, because it makes them reflect. It makes them think, oh, why does this matter? Or they're just big jerks and they want to argue with you. And in that case, walk away. They're not worth your time. All right. And now another one. Self-care, self-care, self-care. I know. It sounds so cliche, but let's be real. Self-care during the holidays is not just bubble baths and candles. It's about choosing who you give your energy to. It's taking time to not engage with the things that drain you. Sometimes drunk uncle is not where you need to spend your attention. So engage in the self-care, whether that means sneaking away with a book, taking a long shower, getting in a workout, whatever. Do not underestimate these simple ways to protect your peace. Take care of you. Go for a run before your meal if it's something that you enjoy doing. Actually, this year I'm going to do a 5K before Thanksgiving dinner. I was so grateful that my sister-in-law reached out and asked if I would like to do it. Hopefully our cool ass shirts come in on time. If so, I will be posting it on social media, because I know that this year I will be sitting at a table, as I frequently do, with people who don't see things from the same perspective that I do. And I just want to make sure that I am physically and mentally in a really good and centered place, because I do not want to respond to anything emotionally. I don't want to cause any problems. I want to try really hard to be able to tolerate some things that may be hurtful to me. So I'm going to take care of me. So shout out to my sister-in-law, Erica, for inviting me to do a 5K with her this Thanksgiving morning. And I don't think she listens to the podcast, so she'll never hear the shout out, but I'll thank her in person when I see her. But overall, I just want you to remember that, honestly, self-care is setting a firm boundary with yourself as well. So you need to remember, you do not need to sacrifice your well-being to meet holiday expectations. You don't have to cook the perfect meal. You don't have to have the perfect conversations. Your children do not need to look perfect. And you don't have to engage in every battle that happens. If you need a breather, step outside. If you're more introverted, give yourself permission to skip some events. My 2 kids growing up were very I don't want to say very, very different, but they obviously had different personalities. My son was a little bit more extroverted. My daughter was a little bit more introverted. Although around holiday times when they were kids, they didn't really want to engage with the adults. They wanted their time, and I respected that. If you need a break, because it can be overwhelming. As somebody who spends all day long talking to people, at the end of my day, I'm kind of done. I'm out. And so I don't do anything social after work. That's my time. And so I can understand what it's like to be very overwhelmed with having to carry conversations and all this stuff. So just set the boundaries, have a plan. One thing that I do sometimes is if I have the luxury of escaping to a bedroom and just doing a little meditation or relaxation or just reading a chapter in a book, if I can escape from a social situation and do that for a little bit, I do. But I also, again, I set this boundary with myself. If I'm not feeling the energy to do the thing, I'm not going to do it. And I'm sorry, but nobody can make me feel guilty. If you invite me to an event and I'm not feeling up to it, I'm going to politely decline, and I will feel zero guilt because I value myself enough that I know I need to stay okay. Because what I do for a living is give of myself to others. And so I'm going to take also. I'm going to give to me. I'm going to give me to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's zero guilt. And how about a little reframe here? Some gratitude on your terms. Let's flip the script. The holidays can bring up a lot of heavy feelings, but it can also be a time to reflect on the positives in our lives. Not in a forced, let's be thankful because we should kind of way, but in a more empowering, hell yeah, I made it through this year kind of way. So sometimes when I'm escaping in my little pod of solitude, because I'm enforcing that healthy boundary, I will spend some moments being thankful that I have family who is alive and well. And I'm glad that I get to spend some time with them, even though sometimes it's draining or there's conflict or whatever. I just take a moment, and sometimes, honestly, not going to lie, it's like, oh, I'm grateful that I have these comfortable shoes to be wearing, because sometimes things get so icky that I can't really go all the way in my gratitude. But just even thinking about like the small victories that you've had, like the growth, the connections, the challenges that you've overcome. Often in my therapy sessions, in my coaching sessions, I have the honor of celebrating growth, connections, challenges. Like that is one of my favorite things. I actually just recently had a coaching session with someone, and we celebrated how far she has come. And like, when I think about it, I could cry, because just like, I'm so lucky. I'm like one of the luckiest people on the earth because of what I do for a living, because I get to see people change. I get to see people grow and learn and become the most badass versions of themselves. And I'm so lucky, and I get so excited, and I love to celebrate those victories with people. I'm telling you, when you work with a woman who had such severe sexual trauma that she had panic attacks and couldn't leave her house, and then over the course of therapy, she turns into this amazing badass who is kicking ass and taking names. There is no feeling like it. So again, actually, that's probably one of the things that I will be reflecting on this year as I'm having some moments of solitude and reflection and meditation. I'm going to be reflecting on how grateful I am to have the amazing opportunity to help women transform into their most badass self. I love it. And even if it's been a rough year, what have you gained in terms of resilience? Honestly, this reframe can help you focus on what truly matters to you beyond family expectations and holiday pressures. I can tell you right now, this has been a very difficult year for me, for my husband, for a lot of things in our lives. And we have come out of this stronger, like not just our relationship, but as people. We are better human beings for the hell that we've been through. And we appreciate each other so much more because we're in it together and we're fighting together. And no matter what happens, like, he's my ride or die. He's going to be there. And we've come through a lot. So I encourage you to think about that. Think about your resilience. And even if you're still struggling with something and you haven't gotten to the other side of it, you are surviving it. You're surviving it. And I know that because you are here and you're listening to this episode. You are alive. You are in a safe place right now listening to this. So you are conquering the challenge that you are facing. And the last piece here for my holiday survival tips is to embrace the imperfect holiday. When my family and I first moved to the area that we live in now, it was like 10 years ago. It was Thanksgiving, and we didn't have anywhere to go or anywhere to be. It was just the four of us. And we just had this very lonely and pathetic little Thanksgiving dinner. But I was with some of the most wonderful people in the world. The three humans sitting with me at this table, I made it perfect for me because I was with the people that I loved. And then I think it was the following Thanksgiving. Actually, I don't know if we did this twice or not. I can't remember if my son was in the Marine Corps or not. But there was one Thanksgiving, or it was Christmas. I can't remember. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But we ended up going because, again, it was just the four of us. We didn't have anyone else to spend time with. It was either Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day. We went and got Chinese food and we went to the movies. And despite the fact that I was initially a little bit sad that we didn't have like a holiday party to go to or a bunch of family around, it ended up being really great because, again, I was with the people who mattered most to me. So as we head into the holiday season, I want to leave you with this. Embrace the imperfection. If this holiday season is complicated for you, that's okay. You do not owe anyone a perfect holiday or a perfect version of yourself. You get to show up just as you are, with all the layers, all the complexities, and still know that you are enough. And let's make a pact right here, right now. We are not going to carry any unnecessary shame or guilt into this holiday season. Not over setting boundaries, not over protecting our peace, and definitely not over preserving our mental health. This year, we are rewriting what the holidays mean to us in a way that feels empowering. End of discussion. All right, my friends, that's it for today's episode. As always, thank you for joining me on the Hint Hive. If this episode resonated with you, or if you're just looking for a place to vent, you can find our Facebook group. The link is right in the episode description. I'm there. We're all here. We're all there, ready to support each other through all of this. And I am wishing you strength, love, and peace this holiday season, however you choose to celebrate it. Until next time, take care of yourselves and remember, You've got this. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.